Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, guys. Welcome back to High Top Baseball. Guys, we are just a little over 24 hours, probably by the time you're watching this, of game one of the Gator baseball season kicking off. Got a good episode for you today. We're going to dive into our weekend matchup this weekend against UAB. Kind of talk about what we're expecting there from their side, what we're expecting from our side, right? With Sully being suspended for this first opening weekend. So we're going to dive into that a little bit. I'm going to show you guys what I expect the lineup to look like going into game one. Not expecting to be right, just kind of what I would do if I was in Sully's shoes this weekend. Kind of talking about how that lineup can change, right, as we maybe face some left-handed pitching throughout the season, or as some positional rotations start to happen, right? So we've been diving into that a little bit the last couple of weeks, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail today. Then we're going to wrap up with some reminders, right? We got the home run giveaway, that prediction contest that ends tomorrow. No more predictions after the game one starts. We're going to talk high top merch. We got some good high top sports baseball merch. You can see the hat here. Got a couple up there on the shop right now. And then just an exciting little app that I'm building right now. It's going to be internal facing, but we'll be able to use it to do some analysis and stuff on the page. So really exciting time, man. We're out here using StreamYard for the first time. Gonna have some cool different overlays and graphics. So High Top Baseball's upgrading, man. Boys, this is exciting. Let's go ahead and get into it. All righty, guys. Let's dive into topic number one, inter-squad scrimmage number 13. That's going to be the final inter-squad of the spring. Really appreciate Adrian, Gator Diamond Pod, right? All the other guys that I've kind of shouted out over the last couple weeks for giving us these glimpses into what's happening in Gainesville when we can't watch them on TV. But it's going to be the final one, and then we can all kind of watch it on our TVs, analyze it ourselves with our own eyes. So really excited to do that, man. But scrimmage number 13, here's our Gator standouts, right? Blake Sear stays hot. The senior's been hitting great. I think we can pencil him into the starting lineup maybe. 1 for 2 with the home run, 3 RBIs. You can see here the second bullet and the fourth bullet, right? Our two catchers behind Carson Bowen. Cole Stanford, 1 for 1 with a home run, a walk, and 3 RBIs. And then AJ Malzone, 2 for 2 with a triple, a double, and 2 RBIs. Good to see the catchers hitting well. I know Bowen's been playing well, so it's going to be kind of fun to kind of rotate behind the dish there with those 3 guys. And then the important piece of this lineup that we've all been celebrating over the last week or so, Cade Curlin, man, he's back. Apparently just didn't rust ever because he just came back swinging it. So he's 2 for 2 here. Says he's ready to go. Go ahead and pencil him into your Friday night lineup. And aside from the Bastian injury, man, I think at what we entered this lineup heading into spring is going to be fully healthy, which is a far cry from where we were last year. I know Gator baseball fans are kind of some PTSD when they hear injuries with kind of how we finished last season and the important pieces we were missing down the stretch there. So really good to see here in February. Pitchers, right? We kind of talked about how these arms aren't fully ready to go yet, which is okay, right? We want them at their peak performance halfway, second half of the season, ready to make a postseason run. So all these guys just threw 1 inning. But Cooper Moss, McCall B. Miller, Ernesto Lugo Conchola, right? He's probably expected to be the first lefty that we see out of the pen. Caden McDonald, our version of Shohei or Caglione, right? The guy that's going to hit and pitch. All these guys threw 1 inning. Nobody gave up runs. Very few walks, right? Really exciting stuff that you want to see out of your bullpen pitching staff. So really good stuff there. Defensive plays turned in by Colton Schwartz, right? JJ's little brother, kids been making plays all over the place. He's at third this time. So good to see there. I think the most important note from this update is Brendan Lawson making defensive plays at short. That his glove being successful for us at shortstop is, I think, the most important piece of this lineup, both defensively and batting order, right? If we're able to put Brendan at shortstop and him be successful there, not make too many errors to where he's a detriment to us in the field, right? It kind of frees us up to play a Surwick at third and a Caden McDonald at first. And it allows you to kind of put your best bats in the lineup, right? I think what we're going to see here is if errors start to plague this team, you're going to see a Sam Miller or a Colt Myers have to come in for their defensive prowess. And unfortunately, right, that does kind of take a little bit of a strong bat out of the lineup somewhere down the line. So Brendan Lawson being successful at shortstop is going to be a super important piece to this Gator baseball team in 2026. Then a couple good double plays turned in as well. So like I said, right, final inter squad of the season. We get real baseball in 24 hours, guys. Get to watch it with our own eyes on TV. Really exciting stuff, man. But again, shout out Adrian, Gator Diamond Pod, Hunter, right? I've called out a couple different people, Nick. Really appreciate you guys giving us these insights into Gainesville when we weren't able to be there. But hey, baseball season's here. It's ready to go, man. Let's do it. Alrighty, guys. So as we dive into the weekend here, start talking about the UAB, these Friday, Saturday, Sunday matchups. Right, we're going to jump over to topic number 2, and we're going to talk Sully. Right, we're going to talk our head coach, our leader, man, and I think the big talking point here this weekend is that Sully won't be with us. Right, he was suspended for 3 games from that altercation he had during the Conway Regional last year. It sounded like they had talked to Sully this week. We talked about it a little last week, right? He feels at peace. He feels happier than he's ever been, right? I think that leave of absence he took in the fall did wonders for him mentally. And we're all hoping it did, man. This guy that's kind of been plagued by off the field issues, off the field distractions, maybe is a better word for it. But really excited to have him back. Unfortunately, now he's not back, right? He won't be there. He kind of addressed the reporters during a press conference last week and said, right, he'll be at home watching it somewhere. So we added Tom Slater, right? So when that leave of absence happened, and then Chuck Girolman left to go to Tennessee, right? We had a coaching void, especially a leadership coaching void, right? And we brought over Tom Slater, who's got a ton of experience both in college and professional baseball. He kind of filled that Girolman role as associate head coach, and he's going to be our acting head coach going into the weekend. And then you can see here, right? Sully kind of detailed out how that's going to look. So Tom Slater is going to take interim role during those 3-game suspension. Our pitching coach Kopp will handle the pitching staff. Taylor Black will be coaching third. Mikey Rivera will coach first, and then we'll have Byrne out in the bullpen with the pitchers. So that's kind of what our coaching staff's going to look like this weekend. Right? You're not going to see Sully in the bullpen. We're not going to see that stone face after maybe a mistake or an error when they cut to him. So we're definitely going to miss him. I'm hoping this team won't miss him, right? We'll dive into UAB here shortly, but I think we're going to be able to take care of business without him in his absence. I think we've put together a good staff of guys that can handle him while he's gone. So that's kind of what our coaching staff's going to look like going into UAB this weekend. All right, so let's dive into UAB, right? Our weekend matchup. Let's kind of talk about what to expect from them. So it looked like their head coach, I believe on Thursday, kind of mentioned that they're going to have 3 right-handed pitching in their starting lineup. And we'll dive into it when we go through our lineup in our order, right? We've got a lot of lefties this year. So the arm side that opposing pitcher's from is going to matter on how we order our lineup. So 3 right-handed pitchers coming in for UAB. That means we're not scared to throw our lefties out there. We probably even prefer to throw some of these lefties out there. I don't think we're expecting much out of this UAB team. I'm just going to be candid, right? I think we should expect to beat up on this team a little bit, right? I think we have a talented team, both hitting and pitching. I don't think this UAB team is expecting to do much this season. So it's going to tell us a lot, right? If our pitchers can go out there and throw strikes, if our bats can just do what they're supposed to do, right? Put some runs on the board, I think we're going to be able to handle business. I pulled a couple graphics here for just American Conference, right? Some preseason polls and accolades and stuff. So you can see here, right? One of these preseason coaches polls is projecting UAB to finish last in the American Conference, right? Not very good. I don't think there's a ton of expected talent on this team right now. Like we were saying, right? 3 kind of unknown pitchers. I think they're Friday guys, maybe going to get some MLB looks at the end of the season, but he's going to have to prove that. I believe their head coach said 5 of their 9 starting hitters are going to be making their D1 debuts this weekend in Gainesville. Not an easy place to play. So I'm expecting us to kind of take care of business, right? And another graphic right here is a preseason all-conference team. From one of these American websites, you can see there's no UAB guys, right? So it's not even like they have a hitter or a pitcher that's much better than the team he's playing around, right? It doesn't look like there's really any projected studs on this team. Now, cream will rise to the top. You'll have guys that outperform expectations. But I think going into this weekend, right, I think this is something where Florida's going to have to take care of business. Last couple seasons, I don't remember, about 2 seasons ago, I think St. John's took the first game from us last year. Maybe that was 2 years ago, but that opening weekend gave us troubles, and there was a lot of a don't worry, and then it just snowballed, right? And that's what kind of led to our really poor starts to this first half of the season that ultimately ended up in kind of forcing us to make these improbable runs to even make the postseason. So I think this year, I think Sully's got something to prove, and even though he's not going to be there, I think the boys have something to prove that, hey, this Gator baseball team can get out to hot starts, and it's what we're going to do. So I expect us to kind of take care of business in these 3 games against UAB this weekend. All right, so let's talk about our team. All right, let's dive into this Gators lineup. I had mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I think we're going to dive into it here. Lefties, right? I kind of put together all of our position players here in a graphic. I think we went over this a little bit last week, but on this one, I went ahead and highlighted in green everyone that hits lefty. And you can see there's a lot of lefties in this lineup. It's going to matter, right? When we see maybe a Sunday starter that's coming from the left side, you can expect to maybe Lawson's going to be in the lineup no matter what, but you could maybe expect to see a Kendall or a Yost get benched during that lefty lefty matchup. Maybe come in and pinch hit at the end of the game when a righty comes out of the bullpen. But this Gator baseball team has a lot of lefties, which matter when you're making a lineup. I didn't really put too much thought into it when I made my predictions here, especially because we just talked about UAB's running out three righties to start on the games this weekend. So. But yeah, a lot of lefties here. It's going to matter how we play into the lineup and how Sully kind of builds this thing out throughout the season. So let's get into my projections, right? And here's a little graphic I had made. We've talked about it all spring. Kyle Jones and Sharpie lead off playing center field. I've got Cade Curlin hitting 2-hole, right? When we get to that meat of the order, I want two guys that are already on base. I want lots of chances to score runs. So I've got him slotted into that 2-hole playing second base. I've got Brendan Lawson, right? Not the most power in the world, but an incredible hitter. If all goes well, is going to be our best hitter on this team. So I've got him slotted in at third, hitting third, playing shortstop. And again, like we talked about that glove, right? It's him playing well in the field is what's going to really help kind of solely build this lineup out how we want to. Hitting fourth and playing third, Ethan Surwick, right? Another big bat in this lineup that I think is going to surprise a lot of maybe the rest of college baseball. Didn't necessarily get some of the honors I think he deserved, being an Ole Miss transfer coming over. So I think we expect to see him take a big step hitting cleanup here. I got Caden McDonald at first, right? I think that kind of along the lines of Brendan playing well defensively, right? That first base slot is kind of a spot where you could throw a Lawson if his glove isn't as good at short as it needs to be. So Caden's going to play first. He's probably going to DH in the games that he's going to throw out of the pen maybe. So I've got him here penciled in the 5-hole hit playing first base. I've got Landon Stripling at the DH spot. A really good lefty bat in this lineup. If you keep reading, right, I think we're missing some of those freshmen in the outfield on this specific lineup. So you could see a Jacob Kendall here slotted in at the DH spot, but I'm a fan of seniority, right? Especially with some of these freshmen kind of making their debuts in Gainesville. I'd rather them come off the bench, no matter how hot they are in spring, right? You don't want to throw a Kendall or a Strayer into the starting lineup. They go 0 for 4 with a couple strikeouts, then you pull them the next day. You kind of kill their confidence. So, right, let them come out of the let them come and pinch hit at the end of a game. Let them maybe get a Saturday or a Sunday start. But that game 1 Friday lineup, I'm going to throw my vets out there. That's at least what I would do. So I've got Stripling in the DH spot, and along those same lines, right? I got Blake Sears hot, playing well. I think these 3 outfielders in Sear, Jones, and Yost give us a really good defensive outfield as well to go make some plays. So I got Sear there in left hitting 7-hole. I got Carson Bowen playing catcher behind the plate. And then I got Yosti in right hitting 9-hole. So this is what I would do, right? This is, again, it's a lot of it is seniority here. I would not be surprised if I saw a Jacob Kendall starting in one of the outfield positions. I would not be surprised if we saw a Sam Miller at a second or short, right? And you kind of rotate some of these guys around in the infield. That's what we've talked about all spring. I don't think we really know what's going to happen until that game 1 lineup gets submitted on Friday. So I'm really looking forward to that, right? You take that next slot down. We got starters, and this was announced on Wednesday. We got Liam on Fridays, we got Aiden on Saturdays, and we got Cooper Walls, the Hawaii transfer, starting on Sundays for us. And I think this is exactly what we expected when Sully brought him over from Hawaii, was to go ahead and slot him into a Sunday spot. I think it was up for grabs between McNeely. It was up for grabs between Sandifer, right? And I think those 2 guys are going to be early and very important arms out of the bullpen right now. And they absolutely could win the Sunday starting job in future weekends. But it looks like it's going to be Cooper Walls to get that first chance at it. And really exciting stuff there. First relievers, like I mentioned, right? I got McNeely coming out of the pen as a righty. My first lefty out of the pen, Ernesto Lugo Canchola. Nothing new there. We've talked about that for the last couple of weeks. Then I've got for my closer, right? I got Jackson Barberry. But again, like we talked about earlier, last year we had Jake Clemente as our Sunday starter in the first opening series. By the end of the year, he was pretty dominant as a closer. So this is going to shift around. I got Barberry starting as our closer. I'd expect Rittenauer to get some good looks there. You could have a Walls or or a Sandifer or a McNeely maybe slide into that spot if they're looking pretty good. So a lot of this pitching staff is going to be rotational, right? You're going to get to kind of move pieces around depending on who's performing, who's throwing strikes, who's being successful. A very deep, a very talented lineup, guys. Is going to be very exciting to watch how Sully kind of molds this whole thing together. All righty, so let's dive into our fifth and final topic. Right, it's going to talk giveaway. We're going to talk a couple other things here as well, but let's start with that giveaway. Right, so the home run prediction ring contest. Right, so I'm taking guesses on the Gator baseball hitter who will lead the 2026 team in home runs and how many home runs he will hit. Right, if you get that number, you get the player and the number on the dot. I will send you this 2017 replica national championship ring. Google Drive's posted in a couple spots, right? It's on my Twitter over at Florida Sports Takes. I'll have it in the comments of this YouTube video, right? Go ahead and click over there, get your prediction in. Hit me up on Twitter if you just want me to do it for you. But definitely make sure you get your prediction in, right? This will close at the start of game one. No more predictions after game one, and we'll just kind of be following that and tracking it throughout the season. So make sure you kind of get involved there. High top merch. Right, so we've had these high top sports stuff right here. You can see I'm wearing the hat. It comes in a couple different colors, shirts as well. Over on the high top sports page, make sure you get over there. We just dropped this new logo. This is a CAGS outline. If you're a Gator baseball fan, right, you know that silhouette right there. That ball's gone. That ball's flying deep, right? So that's CAGS right there for us. Make sure you check the colors. The one on the bottom there was posted in red, white, and blue. The one with the title "Go Gators" is posted in orange and blue. So a couple different color options there. Make sure you check that before you order it. But really exciting stuff, man. I think we're going to continue to look at logos. We're going to continue to try to launch some merch. Right, us baseball fans love to wear hats, so we're definitely going to be doing more of that. If you ever have any ideas that you want us to drop, send them over to me. We'll definitely get them put up there. Really exciting stuff there. Final announcement, right? So I'm building through ChatGPT and some other behind the scenes stuff, a app builder, right? So we kind of talked through some of the metrics I'm going to be following, right? Quality at bats, quality starts, freebie awards, stuff like that. And I'm building an app. It's going to be internal for now. I'll pull graphics from it. We'll kind of use it to talk about the series and about the games after, and then kind of get an idea of what this team's doing well, what this team needs to improve on. It's going to be internal face for now. We'll see if we eventually maybe get an external face so you guys can go take a look at it and review some stuff. But really cool, really exciting stuff there, guys. I appreciate you so much. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, commenting, man. I love to communicate with you guys and with the Gator baseball fans. So make sure you're subscribed to High Top Sports Gators Baseball. Obviously, make sure you're subscribed over to the main High Top Sports channel. Guys, we are 24 hours away from Gator baseball, real Gator baseball being back, man. I appreciate you guys. As always, God bless and go Gators.